everybody, how's it going? It's Man Alone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And today we're going to be poking our nose around Alchemy Virtual Tabletop. I've been wanting to make this video for a while because I've been using Alchemy now for a while as both a GM and a player, and even sort of screwing around with it to see if I can create any solo game environments. I've been thinking about trying to see how it would work if I did a solo playthrough on Alchemy. And I think about six or 7 months now I've been using it, and I've played it probably 50 different sessions. I have a pretty good sense of it now and what works really well, and what maybe I hope improvements happen, and what's special about it. Also, thank you to Free League, who provided us with an enhanced edition copy of the Morkborg module that we can take a look at. So just to kind of take a step back here and be pretty remedial about this, because maybe not everybody is aware of what a virtual tabletop is. You probably, induce it from the name. It is a virtual tabletop that is used often in online play to simulate all the actions that a physical tabletop would perform, right? So, you could play on something like Zoom or FaceTime or what have you, but you're going to have maybe some issues, like everyone being able to see the same map and the same minis and the same dice rolls. And people do it. I mean, people did this stuff well before there was virtual tabletops, where even now when I'm GMing, sometimes I'll just hear my players roll their dice and they'll just tell me what they got. It's not like, they're violating some honor code or something like that. And so what the virtual tabletops seek to do, though, is to just make this experience better, facilitate it more easily, make it feel like you're in person. And so some of the ways they do that, all of them do it in different ways. Alchemy is focused on the sort of immersiveness and the aesthetic and the features and the assets from the books, and linking to the actual companies for the integration and use of art. Not to say that the other ones don't do that, but I'm just saying this is really Alchemy's angle, and I really love how Alchemy looks. And they have an amazing team. They're very responsive. They're very involved. They always do updates. They're just like workhorses too. They're always putting stuff out. So any of these sort of thoughts I have about what could be improved or what they can do a little bit, or that I hope they'll do in the future, I have a good feeling that they will, because it is a really good team. The other three that are common, you'll probably hear about Roll20, Foundry, and also Owlbear. And again, each of them have different things that they focus on, that they're known for. They'll have different subscription plans. They'll have different data storage, different map making abilities, different subscriptions that have different levels of access. I do, for now, subscribe to Alchemy Unlimited, which is $8 a month. And what that allows me to do is have unlimited games that I'm creating and running, which I would say as a GM is probably important for if you do GMing, maybe if you're going to use it for solo play. But if you're just a player who wants to, join in on a game, you can get a free subscription. I'm also showing right now inside the Apple app. There's actually quite a nice app here. I'm sure it's on Windows as well. I'm just not using my PC right now. And this is a list of the content universes that I have purchased. Also, I want to give a quick nod to Tabletop Audio. If you don't already follow them on Patreon, you should. And they have an awesome integration that can go into any game, providing ambiance and music and all kinds of stuff. Also, this Nord Games, I think, comes on there when you get it. And also this 5e, which is, I did used to think this was from Wizards of the Coast, but I think this is straight up just 5e the game. And it really, even the color scheme and everything, it really fooled me. So when you want to start a new game, you can go to any of the game modules that you've purchased. Okay. You do have to purchase them. Like I said, you get a few for free, like this 5e or Nord Games, and some other companies will also have some freebies of like quick starts and some games that are like for Alchemy only that are really cool. So you can see right off the bat, the big hitters here are going to be Free League and Modiphius. But really other cool stuff that I'm interested in as well from some other systems. Obviously, I'm a Free League, what do they call it? Simp. So I'm always going to talk about Free League stuff, and it couldn't have been a better integration with Free League because I think their games are already so like visually arresting. And so yeah, you can see sort of the difference in prices here in that the core rule book is $39.99 from Modiphius for Fallout, and the enhanced edition is then $49.99. And that's how Modiphius does it. Other systems will like the game or the module will be $20, and then if you want to get the enhanced edition, it's an additional $10. Now, one of the reasons that Free League games might be a little bit less is because there was a bit of a thing that happened maybe over a month ago. Some of you may have heard about this. Now, I do not know the inner details of this, so it's just sort of conjecture based on what did happen. But essentially, Free League and Alchemy put together a humble bundle for charity, and they had like an option where you can get, I think, like 12 of their games on here for a $30 donation. I don't know if those dollar signs or numbers are exactly correct, but it was something like that. And people everywhere were like, holy God, are you kidding me? And I mean, I already had a lot of them, so I only bought like the smallest one. But not only did it give me, like, for instance, Mutant Year Zero. I had the Mutant Year Zero core book, but it also gave me like Elysium, and it gave me all the stuff from the Grey Death and Mechatron and Die Meat Eaters Die, which, like, look, with this stuff now is $20. It gave all of those, and on top of that, they also came with the PDF, which I thought was the best thing going for this thing. For Alchemy, because I very often want to buy PDFs for games, even though I don't prefer it. I prefer to have a physical book. I always want to buy a PDF because, number one, I can get it right away. Number two, I save some trees. Number three, I don't know if I like the game enough. But the thing that always bothers me about getting a PDF is if I get a PDF and I don't dig it, or I do like it, I do dig it, and then I buy the physical copy, I'm like, damn, I just spent $20 plus $40, $60 instead of just $40 if I would have just gotten the book. And so I always hesitate to get the PDF. But because they came with these games on Alchemy, it was like made that transaction a lot easier in my head, because I was like, well, I'm buying all of these assets, and you get like all the articles from this, but this is not, this you still get. You click on these and you can look at the different things. It's not, as you could see, quite the same as like reading a PDF, even definitely not like the book. I would not prefer to do this. This makes it feel like I'm reading from some sort of like online wiki or something. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not quite the same. They used to have, literally, you could download the PDF file. And so I would say, well, I normally wouldn't get the PDF, but I get this whole game with it. I get the whole game now on Alchemy. And so that's a good deal. And so for whatever reason, everyone thought it was pretty wild. Like, they're giving away 30 PDFs for $30 or whatever. And if they would have sold those all individually, I think somebody totaled it up to like $900. People were getting it for $30, but the thought was it's a very short-term thing and it's for charity. So, and then also at the end of the day, it's also a PDF, which we all sort of like. Again, I understand why PDFs cost what they do. It's not just like the pixels, it's the work, it's the art, it's the writing, but it is, a non like fungible, well, not fungible. It is a non-physical asset that there is like no supply curve on it. It's unlimited as long as there's like computer screens. And so occasionally I can see PDFs are a great thing to do with charity, because it's like you lift up that veil a little bit and you say, normally we would charge this, but it's for charity. So here you go. So that was going on for a bit. And then there was an email from Alchemy that was, I wouldn't say cryptic, but it was like there was some piece of information left out of it that I think was like the linchpin. And it basically was said, hey, some of you have bought this Humble Bundle. And as you know, they come with PDFs. We think that's like one of the best features of Alchemy. We want to pursue that with every relationship we have. Not every company sees it the same way. Paraphrasing, I don't remember exactly. But Free League does not want to continue doing that. So if you have not purchased the Humble Bundle yet, it's still available, but without the PDFs. And if you have purchased it, you have 3 days or something to download all the PDFs. So of course I went over there, I downloaded every PDF like rapid fire. And then, okay, so up to that point, I was like, not ideal, not great optics. It's for charity. Could freely have kind of like toughed it out a little bit, you know, especially because so often PDFs are getting bought as well as the paper copy. And let's be honest. Now, I'm not kidding what I'm about to say here. Like, this is not a wink wink moment. I don't share PDFs. Like, unless I'm playing in a group and I want to take a screenshot of somebody that I'm GMing, I actually don't, because I think it's important to like reward artists. And also it's yet another reason why I prefer the physical thing, right? Because I could not feel bad about handing the book out to somebody. But, you know, I'm certain that Free League and everyone else knows that a lot of people just like Dropbox PDFs to each other. And so the idea that they could not allow that to happen, to finish that sale, it was kind of like, okay, I get it. But then they pulled all the PDFs out of all their games on Alchemy. And I must be completely out of step with the world, but I just did not think that that was the best way to handle it. It just felt like the baby with the bathwater, because it was one of the best parts about getting these things on Alchemy is you got the free PDF. And so I say this with a lot of love in my heart. I really love Free League. You know, I mean, is it, if you're reading the PDF or you have the book, is it like, oh, I won't be able to like really see what the talents page here looks like? No, I mean, this is fine. The navigation, again, it just doesn't, I don't love it. I definitely, if I was learning to play a game, I wouldn't want to sit here and click through this, right? But it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. But that's the fact that it's not that big of a deal that makes me feel like Free League could have maybe like, hey, what about in the enhanced editions? Maybe the PDFs come with it or something like that. So that was a bit of a bummer. Again, I don't actually know what happened. I don't even know if Free League was the one that said we want to pull the plug or whatever. It could have been something completely different, but that's sort of the impression that I got. So we are we're on this page right now that's showing like the content universes that I have. And I wanted to go into Coriolis. Again, you can click on this, and man, I own so many of these assets. Coriolis, I own all of them except, well, Quick Start, which I don't need and I already have in real time. Wake of the Icons, I will buy that when we get to that in our campaign. And then Atlas Compendium, I actually have the physical copy of that. But yeah, so this is great. I mean, if you're a person that is cool with all this, it has pretty much everything, and it's searchable, and you know, you have all the maps, and you can show them in group play and all that stuff. But this is actually just browsing. If I wanted to start a game on the home screen, I would create a new game, and then it will, like, of all the things I own, it will say which of these universes do you want to situate this game. So say I want to do Pirate Borg. I do Pirate Borg, and then it sends in all the assets from Pirate Borg. Now, that's all I have for Pirate Borg, but say Coriolis, I get to choose between, do I want this to be Emissary Lost? Do I want it to be which campaign? You know, what am I doing? And I also have the Enhanced Edition, which is what I want to show you the difference of the Enhanced Edition. It is breathtaking. Like, just if you haven't seen this, just wait till you see this. It is truly amazing. But so even if I say the core rule book, once I'm in there, like it's only added 3 scenes there. Once I'm in there, I can add scenes from anything else that I own, but it's basically saying like, what game are you playing? By the way, Down Among the Dead, available now in my last video. That's the new Pirate Borg module. Okay, so let's take a look at, yeah, I made one here. So this is so right away when you go into the game, you create it. One of the things that is not, I don't even know if any of them have this actually. So I'm not going to speak for it, but I know that this is also a really big part of the plan with Alchemy is video and audio chat right on the app. Okay. And, you know, a lot of people will use one thing and talk on Discord. Unfortunately, this is a bit hit or miss, a little bit hit or miss, because sometimes it, like, I've played sessions where it's just the video and audio is perfect the whole time. I've also played sessions where the audio just starts cutting out. That's a big thing, is people just randomly get muted. And then I've had some sessions where we've had to like close it all out and go on Discord because it just like was overwhelmed. Again, I think that's something that will be, as time goes on, that'll get better and better. But this is the main look of it. Okay. So you have this like main play area, and this one looks cool. This is an enhanced edition. In the enhanced edition, you'll see a little bit of this movement, a little bit of animation. Really, really nice. And this is like, so if you are, these are all different parts of like campaigns. So as the GM, I decide which of these I want to share with the players. And some of them are based on like locations, for instance, Souk Market here. And I'll bring that up. And with that, it will have like all the NPCs and objects and encounters that I want there. Also, it's going to have some music, which you can like highlight different parts of the music, you know, like percussion or just like something more of the, whatever the hell that is, depending on, you know, this is more of like the repetitive drums and then a balance in the middle. And then also you can do ambience, which is really cool in a place like a market. And again, you can focus on different areas of the sound, right? Depending on where it is. That right there, it just feels super, it's so cool. I mean, it's just really great. And again, in each of these places, there'll be different NPCs. So you're seeing it from the GM perspective right now. But if I wanted to introduce this person to the group, I could then reveal them. There's also in every one of these scenes, there's a tactical mode that usually defaults to like a space combat map. But there will be also other maps that, unfortunately, you have to load it for each scene. This is one of the things I don't love, and I always forget how to do it. Okay, I think right-click on this. As you can see, a little bit laggy. And I'm monitoring my system performance, and everything else is okay right now. And so it is a bit of lag that does happen in Alchemy. It's a bit resource intensive, and sometimes over time it like becomes behemoth and I have to close it all out. But so I go to tactical here and I can add any maps that I have access to from the modules that I use. And so, you know, this is good for like combat or exploring like a crawl or something. Yeah, it's really slowing down. Let me try to, I'm going to pause just for a second and close a few things. All right, that's a little bit better. So, yeah, if we wanted to add a map, we would just like select, and you can select images from your drive. But, you know, there's 518 different assets. So there is a way to like search them. This is a little bit of a tedium sometimes here because they're organized alphabetically, and I don't always feel like that's the best way to do it. But I very often am like scrolling because like I don't naturally know like what something is called. Like I don't, if I'm looking for that picture of the valley in combat, right? And I say like, oh, it's a combat in a field. It doesn't necessarily bring up what I'm looking for through that moniker because it's actually called like Tarangu Valley. So that's a little bit of a frustration point. And again, these little paper cuts, I don't know why I said again. I don't know if I've said this yet, but what usually happens, and so as to not bury the lead here, in in at least two of my groups, there was this point where they're like, we don't want to play in Alchemy anymore. We just want to play like with the man alone top down camera, and we'll just keep track of our own stuff, because there's no fatal flaws really, but there is just enough things that lead to a lot of these moments where I'm just going, please hold. And nobody's like mad, nobody's incredibly impatient, but it just really stops the flow of the game because I can't find where something is. Something's not behaving the way I want. I have an NPC, but I can't make them show up, or I created them in Souk Market and now they're not present in the space station. And so these are things that I think for some groups really tired them out. But I think this is one of the best things about this when it is going at like a really good clip. And I don't know why I'm never able to get the grid to show up on this one, but usually there is a grid. I don't know. This is another thing here, is like sometimes the things don't close. And so now, like, why can't I just tap outside of it? Okay. So I have, I want my players to be like, okay, this person, Darius, the doubting martyr scout, your friend and mine, is in this valley. And now Darius is put into play and is visible by the other characters, right? And so again, I can't bring up other player characters because I actually have to have people like log in to that to be those. And I would love to do this at some point with Man Alone Waffle SEAL Team Waffle Alpha. Let's see. Okay, let's do an agent. So let's put 2 agents there. And this is going to put 2 agents in the scene of Souk Market. So they're now like in this scene. This is a little bit of a trouble spot as well. I don't want to get too into this because it's to explain what is frustrating about each of these things, I think would be a boring endeavor when I would rather be showing you how this stuff works. But let's just pretend that like Darius is our character. I then can place a token, and I can, just like on a battle mat, okay? And if I right click, we can view Darius and see his stats and skills, attributes, a description, and this stuff is all preloaded. If you were to create your own character, obviously you would, you or the GM or both of you in concert would create this. But when they're put in play, and now Darius is walking along, and what do you know, these 2 agents show up. And so now that I click show, every one of the player characters in my party would be able to see them. And I want to put some tokens into play. Again, I could adjust the size of these tokens if they're like bigger. And say this was please leave me alone. There we go. Say this was combat. I can then click turn order up here, and we have just like rolled for initiative. Okay. And then you can see it starts the timer. Right clicking in tactical mode, you can like measure out distance for movement or aim. Okay. And you move the tokens around and pursue combat. And then you can sort of redo this to, actually right here is the easier way to re-throttle the turn order. And as you move through each of the people, it will move down. And if I'm the player character from my point of view on the screen, and I'm going to slip into Darius here as if I'm playing them, this is what it looks like as the player. I have my hit points here. So I get hit for 2 hit points. I just take 2 off, click, and reduces it right down. Say that the GM says, hey, give me a strength check. I click strength. I click test. Rolls the dice for me based on my stat. Dexterity is derived from agility. Now, unfortunately, because, okay, this actually does work. This works. So what this will do is when it's working right, it will combine your attribute with that specific skill and automatically test however many dice there are. In most Year Zero games, there's a push feature where you can re-roll those that aren't 6s. And if you get successes, then the more successes you get, the more successful the action was. But if you don't get any successes, right, you fail. And if you push, you get the GM gets a darkness point. And those are, the GM can track those, and you can add different trackers to, you know, anything you want to put on there. That sometimes I'll do like a threat meter that I'll gradually increase, but darkness points are basically mischief points for the GM for me to use however I want. This is where I'll say this little area right here is where we start to see the money maker. This is the money maker here, okay? Because a couple of things. I showed you how you can roll your skills. Now let's say that you have this concussion grenade and I have equipped it. It now should generate an action. Again, this is something that does not always work, but when it does, it's incredible. You click that and I use it, and it automatically knows that, you know, it has combined whatever stats it's supposed to combine. So it's a blast power 6, weapon damage 1, crit 2. And so it's saying roll 6d6 dice. Now that is actually wrong. So this is like a little bit of an insight into what's frustrating about Alchemy is it's a lot of stuff is half baked. So it should, maybe it's not. Maybe because the blast power 6, that's what it's supposed to be. But I do see this sometimes where something is supposed to be based on attributes and it's just set as like a set skill. Let's look at something else. Let's give it another try. I don't want to badmouth here. Yeah, so this is an example of like, this one is going to add your strength and your melee combat. So I might have spoken wrong. Maybe that concussive grenade did go by its blast radius, but it begs a question then of like, why does blast radius not exist as a stat then? Why, like, what if I want to, like, why can't I just make that a variable? It just makes everything seem so brittle, like that everything, that's what kind of makes it an overwhelming thing. Now, I'm sure that those of you who have used Roll20 or Foundry, you might have an opinion that goes either way on this. You might be like, oh, you think this is bad? Check that out. Or you might be like, yes, that's why I use Roll20, because even though Alchemy looks great, it has like a lot of these sort of little logistical issues that pop up, and it becomes the phrase I was looking for earlier is like a death by 1,000 paper cuts, right? But a lot of times it does work, especially, you know, most of the time it works. I shouldn't even be like that. But yeah, so that's like once they get this thing humming. Now, here's another example. There is a slot here for each of these to have a weight. Okay, like a Durin knife definitely has weight. But none of the weight is listed for these. And so to go into it, I then have to list the weight. And I'm sure the weight is listed for some. And then it puts up my weight to this and compares it to my encumbrance. But what will sometimes happen when you're playing a game is you'll add a bunch of equipment. It will have like weight for some stuff and weight that doesn't. If I have one item, I'll notice that my weight didn't go up. If I have 20, I'm not going to notice that my encumbrance is not changed. And that's because there is like, not always, the equipment's not always filled in, and it doesn't always populate an equal or paired action with it. And so what that does then is I'm the GM and somebody says, well, I armed my concussion grenade, but there's no action that came up for it. So then I have to go build an action for them, or I have to teach them how to build an action. And yes, perhaps they need to know that, but that just requires an awful lot of commitment to somebody who doesn't even know if they like the system, right? But these buttons, when they get them humming, are the money makers, because all of the table is turned into basically a random generator here, right? If I want to look at the table, I can see all of these options that are pre-made, and this is all the systems that can be rolled right there. And I roll it, I use it, and right over here, it's just going to randomly generate that, okay? So say that I got one of my players rolls a crit, and I say, okay, do you want to do double damage or you want to roll on the crit table? They say, no, I want to try a crit. Click the crit table, use, boom. Click on it. You can look at the different results, what that means, right? We had broken fingers, and what was that? An 8? How did it just roll an 8? That's a D66. Well, anyways, maybe I'm just not looking at it. Does anyone? Oh, wait, you're not here right now. You're in the future. Okay. Oh, you know what it is? It might be that like anything lower than 11 is broken fingers, but my question again is like it's a D66, so because it's rolling a 1D36. See, that's okay. So I think that's like another thing like this here is that maybe it's not able to do a D66, so that someone just made it into a 1D36, which is clearly not the same. I don't know. And then I also don't know, like, did Free League make that? Did somebody else who played the game make it? You know, like if you ever use MyFitnessPal, like if somebody else put in the carbohydrates for Totally Tommy's Tummy Buster tuna salad, then you can also use Totally Tummy Buster's tuna salad. I don't know. I'm not quite sure, but it definitely does lead to these like ponderous moments where you're as the GM, I'm trying to referee, like, should I do this, or why the hell am I not just like rolling dice on my table right now? What should I be doing? So I don't mean to I keep saying I don't mean to focus on the negative, and then I go on these diatribes, because a lot of this is erased when you see scenes on here like this. Look at this. This is the space station. It's unbelievable. It's literally beautiful. It's so and you know, this is another very cool thing is handouts. You say, okay, everyone look, you got something from the judge, and it shows up on their screen. Awesome. There's another scene on here, like the main one, that I think looks so rad. Let me see if I can find out. This is like you're getting the true immersive Man Alone as your GM experience right now, because I'm like, oh, let me see if I could find that. I just saw it. Where did it go? Okay, here. Yeah, this one looks awesome. So now I put them in this scene, right? It's like beautiful. It's like beautiful. And so, you know, I don't know. Is that worth $20-$30 to you? Is it worth the $8 a month if you're a GM? I don't know. Okay. Again, thank you to Free League for providing Mort Borg. And I do want to go into that next. But I want to just not transition the whole video, but just start thinking about like taking a look at this from the eyes of like would this be like, how would this be as a solo tool? Okay. Dragonbane is especially impressive here, I think, in terms of how it looks. Yeah, that's woo. This isn't even the enhanced edition. I don't even know what but here, Alone in Deepfall Breach. Let's put it up. There it is. Your old friend and mine. Tactical map. We have a grid here, but I'm sure very easily we could add some additional maps to that. We have the opening scene over the mountains. So this one not as because this is not the advanced one, it's gonna, you know, it's not gonna have as many of those interactive things, but it's still gonna have, look, the story is all saved here. It's going to have a lot of the NPCs and different monsters, easy to put in. We can put Harga up in the mix. Let's add a Harga. Every game needs a Harga. A Harga for every boy and girl. All right. And so we throw Harga. Oh, yeah, this is great. So this is just like the maps from the book. So this looks great. Yeah, this is like the Drakmar Pass or whatever. This is literally the first thing in the game. And so then your characters... Well, Harga's probably not going to be one of your characters, but who knows? Maybe like this is what a protagonist looks like now. So throw the token down. There's Harga right there. And say this wasn't, you know, a corpse... you'd say, okay, I'm going to do a ranged attack. You can measure it out. Yep, right there. And then we click Harga. And again, if I was playing, What do I have? A field ration and a ladle. So I probably don't have much that I can attack with. There's ladle damage. Let me see how this is built. Let me see this. Ladle damage is 1d8. Shit. I gotta arm myself with ladles. So yeah, this looks great. Willpower points, HP 28. We're gonna use a ladle chop, and it is a roll of 3. So what is that? I mean, I guess this is not year 0 engine, so I'm wondering, like, could we, I guess what I'm wondering is, like, can we go the extra step here to like initiate the damage, right? But maybe it's because I'm not in combat. Let me try that again here. So I will play as Harga. This is as a player, this is all you would see right now. You wouldn't, like, as a GM, I could sort of like go into any player and play as them. Let me try the ladle damage in combat here. 4 dice roll. So what is it? That's it. So I mean, maybe it's a 4. I guess it's like, maybe it automatically determines if it was like a successful hit. Let's try somebody who has gonna have a more definitive, like, you know, like a more definitive combatant, I guess is what I want to say. Oh, I know Draneth is an early foe in the game. So let's get Draneth here. So we're gonna show, and we're gonna toke, and we're gonna place, and then I'm going to play as Draneth. And yeah, so Draneth has a field ration and a staff. So what if I equip the staff? Okay, good. Now it does staff damage. I'm going to use it. All right. So let's look under the hood here. So it's a bludgeoning toppling, 1d8, but it's not set to add any attributes or anything. So yeah, you know, this is not hard to, none of this is hard to customize. None of it is, but I hope I'm not looking like a little weasel here right now, but like, it's not exactly as I want it. It's not, I'm just being upfront about my experience with it, because I know that for me, it's, when I'm GMing, I have like a million plates spinning in my head. And so when I have to stop all that to like update how the staff damage button is working, and then maybe I don't decide that. Maybe I say, well, just screw it, just roll dice on the table and tell me what you got. And then it's like, well, why didn't I do that? Now, next time staff damage comes up, why didn't I just take care of it? So then I go into staff damage and I'm 12 minutes trying to figure out how to do this. I just think like it's one of these, it's one of these things. It's like, the iPhone, right? Or the iPod, if you're, can go far enough back for that, or an early Mac computer. No, not too early. I'm talking like post Steve Jobs coming back from Next Computer or whatever, when it was the first time you have these very aesthetic Macs, and they're just so simple. Everything is so simple. It's all right there and it looks good. And yeah, people that don't know anything about computers are idiots. They'll, you know, people that are like, oh, I build my own. Yeah. The people who are like Android people now, or Linux, you're always going to be that, and that's fine. But I'm talking like the mainstream consumer sits down and is like, wow, this Mac is working as easily as like me navigating my television set, like to change the channel. This looks like that and often functions like that, but it's a bit misleading sometimes, because under the hood in a lot of places, I think there was, you know, an abundance of time spent on form and not function. Okay. Again, fixable. All right. So let's take a look here. Free League, thank you again. They gave me the enhanced edition of that. So we're going to have some awesome music, and hopefully, oh yeah, right off the bat, I am just a very, very happy camper right now. And I hope you are too, because there is a table here for corpse plundering. This is another cool thing, is I have everybody at the table here, and I take a look at the rule sheet, and I go, oh, you know what? This would be great. And I can edit this. I mean, it would be like a little bit tough because I would have to use Markdown and stuff. But it is just like if I wanted to upload a different picture. And so I really like that. And so I am going to share that. And now it will be like sent out to everybody on the table. Right, it should get sent out to everybody on the table at least. Okay, now I can do manual rolls here, and I can make a nice, cool dice pool about it. If I, at any time, every time you click, it adds one, and then we'll roll those out. There be the results. I wanted to put some notes. We'll start the calendar of Necrobell next game 12/23 or whatever, and then that will stay in that notes section. I can also add things as the GM here to keep track of sort of points in the journey. Now this shows it better. The encounter mode is on. When the GM initiates combat, the turn order is automatically displayed there. What do we have as far as tactical? Okay, cool. We got the map. Just like sort of the world map. I'm going to turn, I don't know what, again, I don't have my monitor headphones on, so I don't know if that's just like bleeding your ears, but let's turn that down a bit just so we can take a look. Cool. Scenes. Yeah, so bloody. Let's take a look at that. Is that going to have a little bit of different music? No, we can maybe change the mix up. There we go. How about some ambiance? Ooh, I like that. So let's see. We add some NPCs. So this is like, let me just like run through this really quick. Like, let me pretend that I'm solo playing this right now. Okay. So I come in to this room, and this is the first thing I see. I'm just gonna turn that down. And so I want to add a player. And of course I cannot like actually have another player do it. So I have to be the GM. So I'll have to just make an NPC, unfortunately, and then just pretend that they're the player, but that's fine. So we'll say I want to create a character, and we'll say that this is Jeff, old Jeff. And Jeff is I get ghost, skeleton, or zombie. They're human. How much courage? Jeff has 2. Armor, it's at a minus D2. Armor type, we'll do, is there a light armor option? Chainmail, do that. Okay, good. Jeff, he run. Jeff, he hide. Jeff, he never, ever lied. Okay. Features. Not certain what that is. We'll do a 1x1 token. We'll do for the token image. What does Jeff look like? Here, that's a cutie. Good. Okay, and then trackers, we'll do give him 2 omens with a max of 4, and HP will do 7 and 7. Oh, well, whatever, that's fine. And we'll add both of those. No. We just want omens. All right, so now I have Jeff. I'm going to view Jeff, and I want to update a few things here. So first of all, I don't like that. Let's just see if I have to restart this video for... I just had to make sure that there's nothing that just showed up on screen that was like my thing here, but are you able? Yeah. So I just want to say, in my defense, that poop.xlsx is not an Excel document of my poop schedule. I just sometimes, when I have to save something, if I'm restarting Windows and I have to save something, I'll just write poop. And so I have like a lot of poop files on my computer. I feel embarrassed, but I shouldn't. You all know exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so then for actions, we want unarmed, short rest. Yeah, we want all these. These are like the basic ones. And yeah, we'll do some extra here. Okay, and so we're gonna bring Jeff out into the light. And maybe we can add Jeff from... see, that would be cool if I could add Jeff as a PC from here. Yeah, right here you can allow people to just watch private GM roles. You could add other universe stuff, voice chat, delete journal history, artwork for the game, streaming stuff. Okay. So I guess Jeff will have to live as a NPC. Okay, good. So Jeff has some initiative, and I'm going to play as Jeff. And so, yeah, so let's say that I encounter a crooked guard and a drunk gnome. We'll add them and show them. Show yourselves. Let's go to the map. Is there a different map we can go to? Good. Oh, great. So let's get... crooked guard. We will put the token out. Okay. And so here's the question right now that I'm thinking about. And I would like your opinion on this. I really have not fully thought it through. I'm like thinking about it right now. Is this like, here's what I'm thinking. Why would I do this? Like, why would I'm seriously asking that. It's not a redundant question. Like, why would I do this as compared to just like doing this with a tracker? Or why would I use this app to do it? Okay, so Jeff's kind of cornered, right? This guy comes in and we will re-roll for initiative. And let's see where it sets everybody. Okay, so Jeff is first. So Jeff is going to... let's give Jeff some kind of equipment, right? He's going to have we'll add... I thought it was chainmail, but I'll just add light armor. Give the old boy a backpack. Oh, I wish I can give him a donkey. Water skin, blanket, and come on, a little bit chalk. No, that's not what I want. I want chewing tobacco. A little bit of lantern oil, and there. Okay, here's the weapon. So we'll give him a club. Actually, I want to do a flail. Do a flail, and then see if we can get like some sort of range stuff. Range comes next. Yeah, we'll give the worst weapon ever, the caltrops. Just make sure. Okay, and then maybe a scroll. Okay, so now if I equip my flail, okay, flail equipped, light armor equipped, caltrops is equipped. So this hopefully, great. So generate some actions here. However, okay, so flail, yeah, okay. So this is good, and then I'm going to use it. I used it. Oh, I'm not on the journal. Sorry. Okay, this looks like more what I'm talking about, right? This looks more than what was there for the Dragonbane. All right, let's try the caltrops. Use this. Great. So the attack is 17. I would have to compare it to the crooked guard. I would love it if there was a way to just be like, I want Jeff to attack crooked guard. But I don't think that quite works like that. And then if they attacked me, I would hit up my armor. I'd roll for this. See, it just made light armor. But yeah, so then you can give some of these table rolls to the players, and it'll give them the ability to roll up their own calendar of Necrobell with another 1d36. If I use an omen for a reroll, I can do it like that. I can add new trackers really easily. And yeah. Ooh, that would be a really deadly fight to be so narrow there. So yeah, I think obviously looks rad. Handouts look great. Probably not a lot that if you've paged through Morkborg, you've not seen. I'd be curious about the streaming mode. And I think what my hope is that just from seeing how I've used this, you can start to, yeah, you see it's really slowing down now. You can start to imagine like what Alchemy looks like when it's running at like full clip. You know what I mean? It's like, this is, I think there's nothing here that is like fundamentally, oh, this is, I hate the way this is. I hate like the very nature of this thing. So I'm going to pull them out of combat. Oh, this is so interesting. Any maps here? No. Gosh. I just love this kind of stuff. Let's do it. Let's see. Who or what dwells here now? Let's use that. Desperate Thieves Guild dying slowly of cholera. Imminent danger coming along. Is about to collapse. I agree. We're talking society, right? Let's do just a couple more scenes here. I want to see if there is... Ooh, Rot Black Sludge. I'd love to take a look at that. Let's see. Which ones are the advanced ones? Okay, so yeah, these ones are very advanced. And then, again, you can get the Morkborg Bare Bones edition for free. If you just download Alchemy and get a free membership, you can do this one. And it's just got like... it's just like kind of the PDF you can download of Morkborg, the Bare Bones, which is just, you know, none of the art or anything like that, but it has all the information that you need to play. And then you can create a scene. You can create, you know, you can upload your poop.xlsx file and have a gay old time, because I think that pretty much everybody in this community is just waiting for all of you to contribute to it. Yeah, I really can't. I'm really not decided. Like, maybe from a streaming standpoint, this would be easier to show people what I'm doing. But again, there's plenty of channels that already do that. I'm not sure if I would want to change that, because, like, it feels to me like I have easier access to a dice, a game piece in front of me. So it almost feels like a needless extra step to be a sort of a gearhead. But the reason I'm struggling right now is to articulate this is like, am I not considering something? Is there like some piece of this for solo play that, I mean, I guess music, I guess keeping track of stuff. You know what? Actually, I just thought of something. Journaling would be a lot easier in this, because I have the journal right there. I don't have to write it. I also don't have to like open a Word document and deal with all that bullschlocky of like formatting and everything. Before we go, let's just take a look at El Borgo de Pirata. Yeah, Tabletop Audio has some awesome, and if you wanted, you could add, you know, from that marketplace. All right, let's take a look. Ooh, very, very cute. This looks very viv, very viv. Can we play it? Does it do anything? I guess because it's not enhanced, it's just kind of going to be really nice pickies. But yeah, this looks really good. A little bit of ocean. This is very nice. Very, very nice. And you can also see like the design even down to just like the font and the different text and stuff. Oh, Yogg-Sothoth. We'll add that. And the last couple abominations right up front. Should always start a game, but it will do a bilge rat versus the deep ones. Can I make that choice? Yeah. So, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. See, yeah, every time I start using it for a while, it starts to get a little more like handy to me. I'm curious to play as Yogg-Sothoth. Equipment, nothing. Actions, add action. What's the weirdest action that an eldritch god could have? Carousing. Yeah, so this is not a very big list of actions, and I'm not sure if it's because it's not the advanced edition or what, but we'll do an attack. It is the punch of all the punch, sir. So we'll just say, yeah, it's 1d20 plus strength. And, oh, no, that would be the attack. We'll say that would be 1d20 plus agility. This video kind of sucks, huh? I'm sorry. I'll try better. I'll try harder, but maybe somebody liked it. No, it's not a range attack. All right. I don't know what I'm expecting to happen here. Did you hear that? That has a little bit of a sound effect. Oh, because I got a crit. I see. All right. Nice. I didn't even know there was any sound going on there. Okay. So yeah, I think that's probably have a pretty good idea of what Alchemy is now. I encourage you at the very least to just like download it or check it out. Let me know if you can. Yeah, the enhanced pirate board here looks like it has 37 articles, 111 NPCs. Yeah, that's. Oh, they got Vast Grim. I'll pass on that. I keep seeing this Eat the Reich. Okay. All right. Yeah. So if anyone else has used this, you have a different experience. If you use it for solo play, if you have any ideas about this, of like stuff that I'm not maybe considering, or people you've seen use it well, games that are really well made on here. If you're a big Roll20 fan, or Foundry or something, let me know like how this compares to it. And if you'd like to see me try to solo on here, I'm open to it. I just don't know if I have a built out enough of a case yet. So I'm actually think I'm going to make this a wrap here. So thank you everybody, and we'll see if we ever use this again. Reason I thought it would be really exciting, but it just kind of was clicking buttons, which, like, really, what is life? I mean, pushing buttons, having buttons pushed, but I thought something would alchemize or